Have you ever met someone who notices when a smile is fake? Or when kindness hides an agenda? That person might be an INFJ. INFJs are often called the rarest personality type. Quiet, observant, deeply intuitive. But there is something else about them that many people do not understand. INFJs see motives. Not the obvious ones. The hidden ones. The intentions people try to hide behind words. They notice subtle patterns in behavior. They read emotional signals others miss. And sometimes, they know what someone wants before that person even realizes it. This can feel mysterious, even unsettling. But there are clear psychological reasons behind it. In this video, we will explore 14 powerful reasons why INFJs are so good at noticing hidden motives. And by the end, you may understand why INFJs often seem to know more than they say. 1. INFJs observe before they speak. Many personality types react quickly. They jump into conversations. They speak before analyzing. INFJs do the opposite. They observe. When INFJs enter a room, they do not rush to talk. They watch. They listen. They study. Who interrupts others? Who stays silent? Who changes their tone depending on the person they speak to? These small signals matter to INFJs. Most people miss them. But INFJs collect them quietly. Over time, these observations form patterns. Patterns reveal intentions. If someone constantly praises people with power, INFJs notice. If someone acts kind only when others are watching, INFJs notice. Because INFJs understand something simple. Behavior always tells the truth, even when words do not. This patient observation is one of the strongest reasons INFJs detect hidden motives so easily. They do not rush. They wait. And waiting reveals everything. 2. INFJs have strong introverted intuition. One of the most powerful cognitive functions in the INFJ personality type is introverted intuition, often called NI. NI works like a pattern detector. It connects small details. It predicts outcomes. It senses underlying meaning. Imagine seeing 10 separate puzzle pieces. Most people see random shapes. INFJs see the picture forming. This is why INFJs often experience sudden insights. A feeling that something is not right. A quiet inner voice that says, "Pay attention. Something is happening beneath the surface." Many people ignore these signals. INFJs rarely do. Over time, this intuition becomes very accurate. They start recognizing familiar patterns. Manipulation, hidden jealousy, secret competition, false kindness. These patterns repeat in human behavior. And INFJs learn to see them quickly. This ability makes INFJs excellent at reading between the lines. They notice what is not being said. And sometimes, silence reveals the most. 3. INFJs feel emotional energy deeply. INFJs are highly sensitive to emotional energy. This sensitivity is not weakness. It is awareness. They can feel subtle emotional shifts. A sudden tension in someone's voice. A forced laugh. A pause that feels slightly too long. Most people ignore these emotional signals. INFJs cannot. Their minds automatically process them. When someone says kind words but carries resentment inside, INFJs sense the mismatch. When someone pretends confidence but feels insecure, INFJs feel it. This ability is connected to emotional intelligence. But INFJs experience it on a deeper level. They do not just understand emotions. They absorb them. Sometimes this can feel overwhelming. But it also allows INFJs to detect emotional dishonesty. Hidden motives always create emotional friction. Something feels slightly off. And INFJs notice that feeling instantly. It is like hearing a wrong note in music. Others continue listening. INFJs pause. Because they know something is not aligned. 4. INFJs notice inconsistencies in behavior. Human behavior follows patterns. And when patterns break, something is happening. INFJs are extremely aware of inconsistencies. If someone claims to value honesty but frequently lies, INFJs notice. If someone says they support others but secretly competes with them, INFJs notice. Words and actions must match. When they do not, INFJs begin asking quiet internal questions. Why did that person react like that? Why did their tone change? Why did they suddenly avoid eye contact? INFJs rarely confront these questions immediately. Instead, they store the information. They watch future behavior. If the pattern repeats, the truth becomes clear. Many people focus only on what someone says. INFJs focus on what someone does repeatedly. And repeated behavior always reveals real motives. This careful observation allows INFJs to understand people on a deeper psychological level, sometimes deeper than those people understand themselves. 5. INFJs are natural pattern readers. The human mind loves patterns, but some minds see them faster. INFJs are one of those minds. They constantly connect dots. Not just obvious dots, hidden ones. Small details that seem unrelated at first. A comment made weeks ago. A reaction during a conversation. A slight change in attitude. Individually, these details seem small. But the INFJ mind quietly gathers them, piece by piece. And eventually the pattern becomes clear. Someone who compliments others only when they want something. Someone who changes opinions depending on who is listening. Someone who pretends loyalty but disappears when support is needed. These patterns are difficult to fake over time. People may hide their intentions for a moment, but patterns reveal the truth. INFJs trust patterns more than promises. This is why many INFJs can predict people's behavior before it happens. Not because they are psychic, but because they have seen the pattern before. And human nature rarely changes. This pattern recognition ability is one of the most powerful INFJ personality traits. It allows INFJs to read situations with quiet clarity. And often, they see what others will only understand much later. 6. INFJs listen more than most people. In modern conversations, many people are waiting for their turn to speak. Not truly listening, but preparing their response. INFJs are different. They listen deeply. They listen with patience. They listen without interrupting. This gives them access to something powerful. Information. When people feel heard, they talk more. They reveal more. Sometimes far more than they intended. INFJs notice the exact words people choose. They notice hesitation. They notice contradictions. A person might say they support someone, but their voice becomes tight when that person succeeds. They might claim confidence, but their language becomes defensive. INFJs catch these small signals because they are fully present in the conversation. Listening is not passive for an INFJ. It is active observation. Every sentence becomes a clue. Every pause becomes information. Over time, this deep listening builds a very accurate understanding of someone's true intentions. This is why many INFJs are seen as wise. They do not rush to judge. They gather information quietly, and by the time they form an opinion, they usually understand far more than people expect. 7. INFJs understand human psychology. INFJs are naturally curious about people. Why people behave the way they do. Why someone smiles while feeling hurt. Why someone criticizes others while feeling insecure. This curiosity often leads INFJs towards psychology. Even if they never study it formally, they observe emotional patterns, defense mechanisms, motivations, unspoken fears. They begin to recognize certain psychological behaviors. Projection, passive aggression, manipulation disguised as kindness, guilt used as control. These behaviors appear often in human relationships, but many people overlook them. INFJs rarely do, because they are always asking one simple question. Why? Why did this person say that? Why did they react so strongly? Why did their behavior suddenly change? This constant questioning creates deep insight. INFJs slowly build an internal map of human behavior. And once you understand behavior patterns, hidden motives become easier to detect. For example, when someone offers help but expects loyalty in return, or when someone praises you publicly but criticizes you privately, these actions reveal underlying motives. INFJs see the psychological structure behind them, and this awareness helps INFJs protect themselves from manipulation, even when others do not realize manipulation is happening. By now, you may notice something important. INFJs are not simply emotional people. They are analytical observers. They combine empathy with deep pattern recognition, emotion with intuition, understanding with quiet reflection. This rare combination creates a powerful skill, the ability to read intentions beneath the surface. But the next reasons explain something even deeper. Something that makes INFJs almost impossible to deceive for long. Because INFJs do not only study behavior, they study truth. And truth always leaves clues. 8. INFJs sense authenticity almost instantly. One of the most fascinating traits of the INFJ personality type is their sensitivity to authenticity. INFJs are naturally drawn to genuine people. Honest energy feels calm to them, relaxed, clear. But when someone is pretending, something shifts. The atmosphere feels slightly tense, slightly artificial, even when the words sound kind. INFJs notice this. They sense when someone is performing a role. Some people act differently depending on who is present. They become warmer with powerful people, more distant with those they consider less important. To most observers, this change may seem small, but INFJs notice the emotional texture. Authenticity has a certain consistency. Fake behavior does not. And over time, INFJs learn to trust that feeling. This is why many INFJs quietly distance themselves from certain people, even when others do not see a problem. Because for INFJs, authenticity matters more than appearance. They prefer honest imperfection over polished insincerity. And when someone hides motives behind charm, INFJs usually feel it long before the truth becomes obvious. 9. INFJs value honesty more than comfort. Many people avoid uncomfortable truths. They prefer harmony. They prefer smooth conversations. INFJs also value harmony, but they value truth even more. This makes them highly sensitive to dishonesty, even small forms of dishonesty, exaggeration, hidden agendas, manipulative compliments. INFJs feel uncomfortable around these behaviors, not because they judge people harshly, but because they sense the distortion. When someone says one thing but means another, the conversation loses clarity. INFJs prefer clear intentions. They appreciate people who speak directly, people who say what they mean, even if the truth is difficult. This value system helps INFJs detect hidden motives. Because when something feels emotionally unclear, they begin to question it. They pause. They observe. They analyze the situation from different angles. Eventually the truth emerges. Sometimes slowly. But INFJs rarely ignore their instincts when honesty feels compromised. 10. INFJs notice microexpressions and body language. Human communication is mostly nonverbal. Facial expressions, posture, eye contact, small physical reactions. These signals appear for only seconds, but they reveal real emotions. INFJs are extremely attentive to these details. A brief flicker of irritation, a forced smile, eyes that quickly shift away. These signals are easy to miss. But INFJs often notice them immediately, not consciously at first. A large part of meaning comes from tone. Sometimes the mind processes them quietly in the background. Then the intuition speaks. Something feels off. Later, the INFJ remembers the moment, the expression, the hesitation, the subtle tension in the body language. And suddenly the situation becomes clearer. The words were friendly, but the expression told a different story. This ability to read subtle signals gives INFJs a deeper understanding of social dynamics. It helps them recognize when someone is hiding frustration, or envy, or secret intentions. Most people focus on the conversation. INFJs notice the conversation behind the conversation. 11. INFJs reflect deeply after social interactions. Many people leave a conversation and move on quickly. INFJs rarely do. Their minds return to the interaction later. They replay details, tone of voice, facial expressions, the emotional atmosphere. They quietly analyze what happened, not with judgment, but with curiosity. This reflective process allows INFJs to notice connections they did not see in the moment. A strange reaction suddenly makes sense. A compliment begins to feel strategic. A disagreement reveals a deeper insecurity. Over time, these reflections strengthen the INFJ's understanding of people. They learn from every interaction. They refine their intuition. They become better at recognizing patterns in behavior. And eventually, hidden motives become easier to recognize earlier, sometimes almost immediately. This constant reflection is one reason INFJs develop such deep psychological insight. They do not just experience social interactions, they study them. 12. INFJs understand emotional contradictions. People often experience conflicting emotions. Someone may feel admiration and jealousy at the same time. They may feel love and resentment simultaneously. These emotional contradictions create complex behavior, and INFJs are very good at recognizing them. For example, someone might praise a friend's success, but their voice carries tension. Their energy feels restrained. INFJs recognize this mixture. Support mixed with insecurity. Kindness mixed with competition. These emotional contradictions often reveal hidden motives. Sometimes people want to appear supportive, but secretly feel threatened. Sometimes people offer help, but hope to gain influence in return. INFJs notice these subtle emotional layers. Because they are comfortable exploring complex feelings, they do not assume people are simply good or bad. Instead, they understand that motives can be mixed, complicated, human. And this deeper perspective allows INFJs to interpret behavior more accurately than many people. 13. INFJs trust their intuition. Many people experience intuition, but they doubt it. They ignore it. They explain it away. INFJs eventually learn to trust it, because their intuition proves correct many times. An uncomfortable feeling about someone later becomes justified. A quiet suspicion later reveals a hidden agenda. Over time, these experiences build confidence. INFJs learn that intuition is not random. It is the mind processing subtle information. Information gathered through observation, emotion, pattern recognition, and experience. This is why INFJs often pause before trusting someone completely. They wait. They observe. They listen to their intuition. Some people misunderstand this caution. They may think INFJs are distant or mysterious. But INFJs simply value emotional clarity. They prefer to understand a person fully before opening their inner world. Because once an INFJ trusts someone, that trust is deep. Very deep. 14. INFJs seek meaning beneath the surface. At the core of the INFJ personality is a deep desire to understand life. Not just events, but meaning. Why things happen. Why people behave the way they do. Why certain patterns repeat in relationships. This constant search for meaning makes INFJs natural interpreters of human behavior. They do not accept surface explanations easily. If someone behaves strangely, INFJs ask deeper questions. What is this person feeling? What are they afraid of? What are they trying to gain? This search for deeper meaning often reveals hidden motives. Because motives usually exist beneath visible actions. Someone may offer kindness, but secretly seek validation. Someone may criticize others, but secretly fear failure. INFJs look beneath the action, into the emotional story behind it. This perspective allows them to understand people on a level many rarely explore. And that is why INFJs often appear insightful, sometimes even mysterious. They are not simply observing behavior. They are exploring the human mind. Being an INFJ can feel both powerful and exhausting. Seeing hidden motives means understanding people deeply, but it also means noticing things others ignore. Sometimes uncomfortable things, sometimes painful truths. INFJs often see the emotional reality behind social masks. They recognize manipulation, insecurity, hidden competition, unspoken fears. But this ability also brings compassion. Because when INFJs understand someone's motives, they often see the pain behind them, the insecurity behind arrogance, the fear behind control, the loneliness behind attention seeking. This deeper understanding allows INFJs to approach people with empathy, even when they choose distance. Because insight does not remove kindness. It simply adds clarity. And perhaps that is the quiet strength of the INFJ personality. They see beneath the surface. They understand the patterns of human behavior. And even when they recognize hidden motives, they still choose wisdom over judgment, understanding over reaction, and truth over illusion. If you are an INFJ, you may have recognized many of these experiences. The quiet observations, the strong intuition, the ability to sense what others do not say. And if you are not an INFJ, you may now understand why INFJs sometimes appear so perceptive, almost as if they are reading invisible signals. Because in many ways, they are. Human behavior always leaves clues. Most people overlook them. INFJs simply notice.